hopefully this will work out. I'm not sure what could be causing it. Furthest we've made it. Alright, I want to close that then. Are you there yet? Is anyone there? Alright, cool. So far, so good. Can you tell how the audio is? My girlfriend was watching the VOD afterwards and said my voice was quiet compared to the game, so... Can you hear me over everything okay? It's another one of those droids. Is it too quiet? And see if I can turn it up a little bit. There we go. Let's see how that works. So this is where we need to go. There's a bunch of turrets on the other side of this door that are pretty strong. So we need to find a way through without having turrets kill us. Yeah. This is a proper dungeon. Here, with lasers blasting every 2 seconds, how does it sound between comparing me and the game? Let me heal. Okay. Hopefully that'll be good. Here, let me just turn it up just a little bit more. There we go. That should hopefully be a little bit better. Alright. We'll use med pack. Have mission use a med pack. Alright, there we go.
Please don't hurt me. I just served the food here, that's all. I'm not like these others. I'm not even Clive Volker. Please don't kill me. My name is Ada. My father owed Davik some money, but he couldn't pay. Davik killed my father and sold me into slavery here at the Volker compound to pay off the debt.
Jeez.
Well, alright. I still don't know how much help I can be. But what? I've never heard of such a thing. I guess it might be in the garage on the lower level. That's where all the Volkers go to work on their swoop bikes. But I've never been down there. The elevator is protected by a security system. Only...
Alright, let's let her go, because we know... Basically, we know everything we need to know already. It's just good light side points to let her go. Like I was explaining last time, the light side points and dark side points mostly affect your force powers, but when you do get max to either side, you get a extra bonus based on what class you are. It's like when you're max light side, you'll get a +4 wisdom or something like that. But we're a little bit a ways from that. Unfortunately, because we're in the base, we can't do our healing trick where we run back to base. So we're going to have to use some healing items. Luckily, by now it would have crashed, so hopefully not jinxing myself, we should be good for the rest of the stream. Alrighty. But yeah, it is a proper dungeon in here. It's a little bit hard to see, but yeah. There's the front entrance. That's probably where we'll end up leaving. And oh, here's some loot that we need to grab. Alright. So here's the armory. A lot of places will have an armory, and it usually contains some pretty decent items. Like, yeah, they got a bunch of blasters, disruptor rifle, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can see where you'd say that. This is supposed to be like an it's almost like the under city of Coruscant supposed to be, because it's a big city planet just like it. Let's see if we can give her. What's the difference between those two? Yeah, it's a better D8. We're not on Nar Shaddaa, but it's similar to Nar Shaddaa. Apparently, Coruscant and Nar Shaddaa aren't the only two big city planets. We actually go there in the second game, and not in this one. So yeah, so with the heavy blaster, it's a bigger hit die, and if you use the ion one, you get a bonus against droids. Which, this is the first time, hey, that actually makes sense to me. Let's see, anything else? Let's compare this to that disruptor rifle we got. It's so this physical damage compared to like energy damage. Okay. So we don't need that right now. Alright, let's go through here. So we'll check out this computer over here. So it's been a while, but we can slice into here. We can actually just open all the doors, and we can actually get a look at different places by checking the cameras. And if we overload this, that's a huge fight that we don't have to deal with now. And there's a pool. There's the elevator. We can actually circumvent the whole finding a key card. It would just shut down the security system now, but that's a huge waste of spikes that we really can't afford right now. I bet. Alright, and then that guy. That's the guy we're looking for, because he has the key card. See, we still get the experience points for beating them. in addition to everything. So we got level ups. This is a boring level because you only get skills, but we'll just do the recommended. It's just one in everything she's good at. We'll save the extra one for later. What is Scoundrel's Luck? Let me just see that. Oh, it's just a base bonus to her AC, essentially. That's nice. Alright. And then him. Scout. Okay. And we'll put it into repair too. Alright.
Sure. Huh? Gotcha. Simple.
Yeah, for sure. And see, it doesn't always do this, but we damaged this guy enough that he doesn't want to fight anymore. It's interesting. I wish they did it more, but they only program it into a couple enemies. And so here we get a little bit of backstory. The new guy in charge basically is redoing everything, all the rules and stuff that Volkers apparently used to have honor and stuff like that. And then the new guy took over, and now they're just violent and bloodthirsty and stuff. So yeah. Why doesn't he leave? Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, and he doesn't have it, so we'll just let him go. And then there's the one guy that was left over. Now we just get to pick up everything they left behind, including that pass card we were looking for to get into the elevator. Just a lot of miscellaneous stuff. These adrenals, they're like little bonuses to your stats that you can use. For instance, using that one will bump up your strength stat for a little bit. And then I think there's mines down here, but... And you can program the droid to go in and trigger all of them, but I don't think it really matters that much. Yeah. For sure. It's like the potion of giant strength or whatever, but you can get one for any stat pretty much. Yeah, and then he dropped. But he's gonna get right back up because there's no actual consequences for dropping unless your whole party drops at once out of battle. So we'll use med pack. Alright, and now we'll go over to the back to the elevator and disable the security stuff. If you're really struggling with a fight, I barely use those items. So if you're really struggling on a fight, I'll often use a whole bunch at once and buff everything, and then the fight will be so much easier. All right. All right. So I think it's this droid that I was gonna try and repair to get in through. I think it's that door at the end of the hallway over there, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough parts to do that now, since I had to repair that one with the Gamorreans last time. No? Alright. Yeah. And there's like goodies in there or something. I'm not exactly sure what. I doubt it's anything I couldn't live without. Yeah. See, I don't even ever buy them. I pick up all the ones that are out in the field, and then I never end up using them. Alright, and then my leader's down again because I didn't fully heal him, but with Zalbar, I doubt we have anything to worry about. Yeah, he's gonna tear through them like nobody's business. There we go. Yeah, and he doesn't even have a scratch on him. Alright, and there's mines down there. Alright. Some better armor. I wonder if that's better than what I have on me. Oh, the Ichani fiber is pretty good. And it's also better because you can upgrade it. Like, this one is technically better, but doesn't have as much defense. But I think that's actually better than what I have right now. At least until I equip something else. Let's see. What's hers at? Her dex is only +3, so yeah, she can keep that for now. We'll use a. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Health pack. Alright. That's the way up. Down there, I think it's one of these two places that I need to go for sure. But we're going to explore it all anyway. Let's hope we can at least. Here we go. I was hoping to finish the planet today, but then my computer crashed a million times. So, I'm hoping we'll at least finish this base before people start to come home. Alright. One of the few times you get to actually search a desk. Computer. Yeah, so you can overload the swoop bike and it'll cause everyone to come running. I guess that's what they intend for you to use the stealth for, is to sneak around to all these computers and activate that first. But I really don't. It's so convoluted. I really don't usually end up having time for it. It's easier just to run and gun on things. And then you can also download the map of the area, but it's easier for me to look at the map and explore it on your own because you'll see like there's areas that you haven't explored. And it's easier to tell what you haven't explored that way. So yeah, I think this game. I've heard about that game. It sounds like that was this game was one of the influences for Deus Ex. I remember I haven't played that much, but I saw a little bit at E3 one year, and it looked, oh hey, that looks like an action, more action based Knights of the Old Republic, but like without the D&D part. All right, so the quote unquote boss fight is in one of these rooms, and it can be a little bit tough. Even if you have Zalbar. Radiation shields. And it just gives you a shield. It's at least helpful to not have the millionth footlocker standing around. There's a workbench. So, I don't know how much you remember, but you can use these to upgrade different items. For instance, Zalbar's bowcaster, we can give all these different things that affect all the different stats. And so now it's 3 to 12 damage and has a bigger crit and additional to hit. And then we can upgrade the 2 vibro blades. Let's upgrade these. That one will stay a little longer. And the Chani armor, we get that. And it's much better now. For sure. I guess it's easier in a sci-fi setting than like D&D, cause it's weird to make enchantments so modular, but with like a gun, you can add like a different scope or start using different kinds of ammo and stuff like that. We're gonna just top ourselves off just to be safe. Exactly. Unless it's like a future space sword where it has like a power cell to produce its little energy field or whatever. Which is basically what we did with the vibro blade there. Alright. So, in this conversation, you can flip the whole quest you've been on and join the Black Vulkars instead if you want to go to the dark side. But because yeah. Yeah, he tries to proposition you or whatever. Yeah. Alright, so before we get in here, we can go into here and activate our energy shields. And that'll help us a little bit with their blasters, since they're gonna use the same. See, she's now glowing. So we're gonna sit here and shoot at each other for a little bit while we wear down all the different shields. I'm gonna heal again just to be safe. I think the energy shields scale a little bit. Let me see. No, I guess that's a flat 20 points it takes. But because I guess I'm so low level, it's easier to hit me. There we go. Not as much trouble as that fight sometimes can be. And that's just a mine over there. Alright. Alright. So we've got, there's an implant slot, but the thing is that you need a specific feat to be able to use implants that we don't have just yet. So for a lot of the characters, it's just a wasted equipment slot. So we'll have her cover mine. Alright. And then there's our swoop accelerator. Unfortunately, now we have to walk all the way back to the hidden backs. There's the only fast travel is to your base and back, and that would take even longer than walking back to where we go. Yeah. But with this over, we're through a good chunk of the planet. Where are we headed? We want to go to the right because we want to go out the front door. So that's the thing about this game, is that you always very often clear out these giant bases of people, and now then they're just empty, and you gotta wonder what you leave behind in your wake. If everyone from the Black Volkers are dead now, or if they're just mostly off base or whatever. Alright, yeah. Alright. Alright. See, I thought I cleared this area out, but I guess some of them respawned. To be fair, this is the first time that I've played the PC version of this game, so there might be different things about it that I haven't, that little tweaks that I haven't seen. But I'm pretty sure the iPad port is just this, but with touch controls. That's what I said. Right. Keep that in mind for later. So here's the leader. Here's the accelerator. Alright. Yes. So if you remember episode 1, where this kid is really good at pod racing, turns out we're really good at pod racing too. Yeah. Yeah, he's got all his bases covered. Alright, let's do that. Yeah. And so the little DM snippets are here. So we go to the track. So and then we'll talk to this guy's the guy who works on our bike. And so he's like he explains swoop racing for you. And basically it's not like a race like the pod race. It's more like a time trial. Where everyone goes, they take turns going, and whoever gets the fastest time wins. And normally you'd get as many tries as you want, but apparently we get 5 tries. I've never not done it in more than 2 or 3 at the most. Usually you'll do one, and then they'll beat you, and then you do a faster one, and they're like, nobody's ever going to beat that time. And so there's Bastila, but she's got like a collar on her that's supposed to dull her mind or whatever. Alright, so I'm going to do an extra save here. Pretty much. Alright. Alright. Now, the controls on the PC aren't always the best. Alright, left and right. Okay. And so you click every time you want to boost up your speed, and it like shifts you into the next gear, and then you want to hit as many of these speed tracks as you can. It's actually not too bad. And then as you get faster and faster, the speed bumps are the only way you get. I'm moving as fast as you can. Fair enough. So it turns out a controller and touch controls aren't the best ways to do this. Yeah, and like that, he beat my time. Yeah. So then we gotta try it again. They try to make kind of a biggish deal about this whole section of the game, but because you can do it, there's a track for every planet that you visit, pretty much. But there's not really a ton of incentive to do it, other than some. There we go. Other than some credits, which it's a technically infinite source of credits, but it's not fun enough to really consider to really spend a lot of time on it. I'll admit, keyboard and mouse, best way to do it by far. Alright, so we get to win. But of course, it's not going to be that easy. Right. It's just not interesting enough. Because when you on the different tracks, it gets harder, and there's I don't know if you saw, but there's things you can run into on the track that I pretty much avoided. And on the other tracks, you just are moving so fast, it's not enough reaction time to dodge it, and it's just not fun. Yeah. Speaking of comically evil, but she's a Jedi and wasn't actually inhibited by the collar at all. And so she gets to help us with this fight, which makes up for the fact that you're the only one here. I'm pretty sure that guy has done so many different things in these different games. Alright. So, this, I'm going to save again, actually, because it's a difficult fight, especially at my low level. Because there's only like the four of them, but he's like pretty good. But it's if I go down, the game ends because there's no one in my party to bring me back up. So I'm going to actually boost my dex, boost my con. I guess I don't really need strength, but I'll turn on my energy shield too. And hopefully Bastila can take some hits for me. Okay. That actually went pretty smooth. It's just him. Bastila can tank for me. And I'll just shoot him. Alright, not bad. Now we gotta be sure to loot him because we can't get back here. But there's our lightsaber that was her lightsaber, but he took it. And then we got a set of good armor, his belt, armband, and gloves, which I think don't have any gloves. Gives a 5 reduction against stuff, and then what's his armband, which is protection against slashing. Yeah. So now I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm here to rescue you. Yep. Luckily, unfortunately, she's really not as grateful as she should be. Sure, she did. Now, you can be pompous and, like, say, but I probably wouldn't have won that fight without her, so. We'll name drop someone she does respect. Right. If you don't lose the shield in combat, it's based on a time limit. So, and suddenly visions of her fighting a Jedi, which I think we had one of these when we crashed too. So that's this game capitalizes on one of the biggest weaknesses Jedi have is that if you shoot them in their spaceships, they can't do anything.
Bastila, you're alive. Finally.
And nobody ever
Now
capitalizes
we
on
just need to
that.
find a way to get off this planet.
You mean you don't have a plan to get off Talos yet? What have you been doing all this time? I see. Now that I'm back in charge of this mission, perhaps we can start doing things properly. Hopefully our escape from Talos will go more smoothly than when you rescued me from Bejik.
I know you're new at this, Bastila, but a leader doesn't berate her troops just because things aren't going as planned. Don't let your ego get in the way of the real issues here.
That
Right.
always strikes me as an appropriate way of addressing your commander, Carth. I am a member of the Jedi Order, and this is my mission. Don't forget that. My battle meditation ability has helped the Republic many times in this war, and it will serve us well here, I am sure.
Your talents might win us a few battles, but that doesn't make you a good leader. A good leader would at least listen to the advice of those who have seen more combat than she ever will. You know, I have my doubts about this mission, but I figured the Jedi Council wouldn't put you in charge if you weren't prepared. Here you are, acting like a spoiled child.
I see. It's true that I don't have much military experience. Perhaps I should not be so quick to judge. Very well, Carth. What do you suggest we do?
First off, we can't get hung up on who's in charge. We all need to work together if we want to get off this rock. The answer is out there. We just have to find it.
Well said, Carth. The sooner we start looking, the better. I've already been a prisoner of the Vulkars, and I don't plan on being captured by a Sith. I think we'll need some help getting off Terrace. Maybe if we ask around, one of the locals can help us out. We should probably start by asking around in the cantinas. Is something wrong? You seem as if something's troubling you. A vision? A vision of what?
So yeah, now it's just a matter of getting off the planet. But luckily, this will be so much easier with us having Bastila in our party.
I'm not sure. It may be that you have some connection to the Force. It would not be unheard of. When we first met, your natural talent may have fed off my own Force abilities. It is possible that in the excitement of the battle's aftermath, the Force allowed you to witness one of my more intense memories.
Yeah, the Force is so much cooler in the extended universe than it is in the entire of the first three movies. You get one vision on Dagobah, maybe. But in this, you get visions left and right, and it's so much more fun.
This is complicated. Even I, with all my training, cannot fully understand it yet. This is a matter best left to the wise masters of the Jedi Council. Once we escape Taris, we can seek the guidance of the Council if you wish. They will understand the significance of it. However, I think it would be best if we all stayed focused on the task at hand right now.
Alright, but people are starting to come home soon, so I think I have to unfortunately cut it a little bit short. Thanks for hanging out, Dragon. Before I go, I'll just exit here and level her up. And conveniently enough, the Mandalorian from earlier wants to talk to us, and conveniently, he has a way off the planet. Yeah. Alright, so the thing about the Jedi is they can't wear the armor generally. Kind of like how yeah. Kind of like how spellcasters don't really come with armor in D&D, but they do get lightsabers. And you can see their hit die are so much bigger than any other weapon in the game. And the other benefit to lightsabers is that they don't say it here, but they get finesse. They can use their dex in place of strength, even though they're a melee weapon. So we can up her dex, we can up her wisdom. She doesn't have, her charisma's her odd stat, so we'll level that up. I said treat injuries the best skill for people who aren't very skill centric. And then you get to pick a force power. You got your buffs, your lightning. Lightning's basically the fireball of this game. But we'll use burst of speed because haste is the best buff as usual. But more importantly than being the best buff, it increases your movement speed, so when you're running all over the planet, it works a lot better. And then honestly, we'll make her we'll give her physical things. And then awareness. Let's give her 2-weapon fighter. Yeah, we'll give her to improve 2-weapon fighting. And then the best force power in the game, heal. So now we don't have to run back every time we end a fight. We can just force heal. And force will regenerate way faster than our health ever will. Alright, but that'll be it. I'll try to start this earlier tomorrow. Hopefully my computer will cooperate. Thanks for hanging out, Dragon. I guess rest of the day I'll probably be editing my other video. So, alright. See ya.